Chris, what is our fourth main topic today?
This comes from Robert Ray. Water is wet. House of the Dragon has been renewed for season 2. But even more shocking, the premiere episode numbers have climbed to 20 million, surpassing the series finale of Game of Thrones. The episode also leaked almost a full day ahead of its debut. But we all knew this would be big. But have we underestimated just how big?
All right, Robert, thanks a lot for saying that in. Yeah, the numbers have climbed, but remember, it didn't really break the series finale numbers of Game of Thrones, because that 19 million number was the first 24 hours. So you can't compare that. It's a different thing. Still, my God, the success of this.
Dude.
Now, look, everybody tuned in. A lot of people tuned in to check it out. The reason a whole bunch of people have tuned in to check it out after its debut is because word of mouth has been, this is damn good. It's really good. And unsurprising, once the news came out that it was the biggest single episode of anything they've had in 3.5 years and the biggest series debut ever in the history of HBO, we all knew season 2 was going to greenlit, and now it's official. This comes to us from the folks over at the Hollywood Reporter who write the following. It's official. Game of Thrones is a bona fide franchise. HBO has just renewed the House of the Dragon for a second season. The move came relatively quickly following the series premiere of Dragon on Sunday, which delivered 10 million viewers overnight, an HBO record for a series opener and roughly on par with the premiere of Game of Thrones Season 6. Now, HBO reports that in the days since the show's premiere, the first episode's viewership has climbed to 20 million viewers in the US alone across linear, on-demand, and HBO Max platforms. Now, I think, there's a lot of people are going to be tempted to say, oh, of course it did well. It's Game of Thrones. But you forget a lot of the doubt going in. There was a lot of questions going on about, there were a lot of people misguidedly did not like the final episode, the final season of Game of Thrones. But be that as may, there was a lot of people who didn't. And with that, there was big questions. Are people going to be willing to go back to Westeros and give it another shot? Are people going to be willing to do that? And like now in hindsight, of course, everybody's like, well, of course they did. But there were questions going into it. I mean, none of us here ever doubted they would, but there were a lot of legitimate questions about whether they would. So the success of this thing is huge. That 10 million is because it's Game of Thrones. The 20 million is because they nailed it. At least in the first episode.
And look at that adorable dragon.
So cute.
That's like
He
Joey
looks like
Bishop.
he's going to tell a joke.
It's like a red. He looks
Got
like
that nice smile.
Yeah, it looks like he just told him a joke. So, I mean, good for them. Good for it. I am so excited about Sundays now. I'm super excited for Sundays to go back and watch the next episode. So anyway, Chris, you hear about this. Renewed for season 2. Obviously no surprise, but what do you think about the numbers we're seeing?
I mean, it's not surprising at all. I think people wanted to come back to this world like we've talked about and wanted to see what different showrunners could handle on this too, right? We were talking about this earlier about the difference between television and film, how showrunners have a really big part of what actually happens in a television series. And I think people were willing to give new folks a shot with the same intellectual property. I think they went, oh, let's see what these folks do with it. And I think that's something that's really, really great because I like this so far. I think it's wonderful. And also our scotch has come in and it's delicious. So we'll have that on Monday.
Wow.
I look forward to that.
Yeah.
Rob, you hear the news. What do you think about it?
Well, I mean, look, this show was incredible. It's a monumental feat in the history of television, whether you like the final season or not. I mean, watching it, Elizabeth and I recently rewatched the entire series again. The show itself is a staggering achievement in terms of whether you're talking about acting, whether you're talking about verisimilitude, effects, storytelling. I mean, it's epic. And it's one of the greatest things that's ever been on TV. So, and remember, they tried doing another show. And like David Zaslav and Batgirl, HBO said they shot a pilot.
Yeah, they shot. Do you know how many millions of dollars went into gathering the cast, signing contracts, building sets, shooting the
Naomi
first
Watts
episode?
was headlining, you had a movie star, and they said, nope, you're never going to see this. It wasn't good enough. And that was pre-Zaslav. And they're like, they know. And this is why I love HBO, John. We talk about, I mean, I don't understand, and just like that, the sequel to Sex and the City, it doesn't always work out. But hey, I think that they knew what they had. They retooled and they came up with something really good. I mean, no expense was spared, incredible cast, great story, really interesting, and it's not surprising to me. And we all watched it, it was a great start. I mean, one of the best pilots I've ever seen.
Yeah, I again, the best pilot, the best first episode to a television series I've ever seen to this day still remains NBC's Heroes. That first episode, I've never seen a first episode of a TV show that's been as good, but this was a damn good start.
Damn good. And you know, like somebody pointed out, I remember before it aired or something, one of the early reviews, somebody pointed out that we totally understand the story. We understand where it's going. And it's hard for a pilot to be not so didactic and be like, well, here's what the show's about. But they did a really good job making it interesting, but at the same time spelling out where it's going to go and making us invested in an hour. And that's tough to do.
Well, can I point out an Easter egg that probably everybody else on the planet caught and I didn't? I just saw it on a breakdown video of the Game of Thrones episode. When Viserys is talking to his daughter, Rhaen, and he's telling her about the dream of Aegon, about the Song of Fire and Ice. The camera shot cuts down to him grabbing a dagger that he has in a sheath on his belt. I did not realize that is the same dagger that what's her name used to
Valyrian
kill
steel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Valyrian steel. It's the exact same dagger that she used to kill the Night King.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, how did I not? I didn't catch that. Totally didn't. Nice little tie. There's a little tie in there. I like that a lot. Anyway, guys, question is for you. Did you watch the first episode of House of the Dragon? Maybe you're not a Game of Thrones fan and it's just off your radar. That's fine. But did you see it? If so, what did you think? What do you think about it already getting the green light for season 2? Whatever your thoughts are, jump down to the comment section below and leave those thoughts there. Guys, we want to take a second and thank the sponsor of this video, MasterClass. All of us here at the John Campea Show absolutely love MasterClass. With MasterClass, you can learn from the world's best minds, anytime, anywhere, and at your own pace. You can learn television writing from Shonda Rhimes, improve your comedy skills from Steve Martin, or you can learn filmmaking from James Cameron himself. With over 100 different classes from a range of world-class instructors, that thing you've always wanted to learn is closer than you think. I have personally watched Bob Iger's lessons on business strategy and leadership at least 6 or 7 times. Every time I watch it, I learn something new that I get to apply to my own business as well. And the best thing about it is you don't have to sit down and watch an entire thing all at once. You can watch the individual segments or just as much as you want in any sitting at a time. So guys, when it comes to MasterClass, I highly recommend that you check it out. Get unlimited access to every MasterClass. And as a John Campea Show listener, you get 15% off an annual membership. Go to masterclass.com/Campea. That's masterclass.com/Campea for 15% off MasterClass.